everyday leaders. Tonight is Wednesday. It is oh no, it's not even March. It's April the 6th. I've been writing March all day long. I can't believe how fast 2022 is going. Doing a book signing this week on Thursday, tomorrow, at a local coffee shop here called Route to Rise in Greenwood. And I put a promotion out today and I said, March the 7th. And I got all these notes. Wait, what? It's so, anyway, it's not unlike me today to know what day it is. Anyway, I am so excited because tonight is Wednesday. It's April the 6th, and we are bringing everyday leaders excited to share with you some stories that people in our community are doing amazing things. So if you're just following me for the first time, I'm Melanie Ake, the founder of Everyday Leaders, where we celebrate and develop cultures, people, and processes. And I am now a 4-time author. So excited to share my story and things that are happening. Part of this journey has led me to Chip Baker, and we just released a book, The Impact of Influence, Volume 3. Now, this was a book for ladies using their influence to make a life of impact. And during this journey, I met a gentleman named Britt Gusmus. Now, Britt was in one of the earlier volumes, and I interviewed him with Chip in the release and the launch parties, and it's been so much fun to connect to this family now of the impact of influence. So, Britt and I decided that he should come on the show again because he's got some big news. So, Joe, let's bring Britt on and talk about his journey tonight. Yay! Hi, Britt.
Hello, Melanie. How are you?
I am great. It is so awesome to see you. I know you're in Colorado, so for those of you watching, it is 5 Mountain Time, 7 Eastern tonight. And we're streaming. First of all, if you guys are watching YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, we're across all the platforms. So don't forget to share this, like it, and subscribe on YouTube. But get this out because, Britt, you've got some big announcements tonight.
I certainly do. And so, first and foremost, great to connect with you again. Honored to be on the program and to continue our journey, not only to impact lives, but influence along that way. And yes, the big news coming out of Denver, Colorado, and the Gusmus household is the Oak Tree Source, my solo book. That came out on St. Patty's Day and has been released on Amazon. We'll go to Barnes and Noble actually later today and all of those other outlets. So incredibly excited to share that with the world and continue to get the message out about becoming strong and sturdy like an oak tree, for men to do that, and my personal journey along that way and how that has worked out for me and how I continue to impact positively communities here in Denver and across the nation.
I love this. I want to read your little blip that you put out here because for people that
Yeah, you
have
bet.
not connected to you, this new book is about helping men everywhere who want more out of their life to take the journey to find their masculine heart, but they don't know how. They're setting their lives for an uninspired and lack substance. The Oak Tree Source. This is the new book, guys. This tells a story of redemption, building strength through trial and victory, while giving practical advice on how to create these. So become a soul on fire that has the tools to inspire and connect as a source of strength and substance, which builds your presence, sturdy and dependable, like an oak tree. I love that.
Yes.
Oh, because here in the Midwest, we have them everywhere.
Right,
Yes,
right.
yes.
And having, and so the oak tree was a big part of the inspiration, and that started when I was got in 2005. I had been in a church group, and there was a little bit of prophesying over the congregation for whoever wanted those things. And a woman prophesied over me in 2005 and said, "Britt, you're going to grow strong and sturdy like an oak tree." And so as the ideas for the book kept coming to me, I was reminded of that little message. And so there's no doubt in my mind that there is a divine inspiration for the message, that men all over the world need to hear it. And then in that. So, what is essential stuff? What is substance? It's our relationship on fire. It's those connections that we make not only with ourselves, but with other people. So, all of those great things that we are meant to do help bring substance into our lives, but it takes work. It takes the ability to maybe uncover and reflect about the things that are not going well in your life. It takes the ability to discover what it is that you actually want, those that substance that you want, and then you've got to evaluate how to go get it, and then you go and execute. So just like any high achieving company, high achieving person, it's that cycle. It's a continuous cycle of learning, unlearning, evaluating, and then executing those things that you feel passionate about. So I can't get enough of it.
Understanding that you have to go through that vulnerability stage and give yourself permission to go through this process. And that's what I think when you get it, when you're on that other side, you're like, man, this was life changing. Yet when you're on the side that the people that you're really trying to reach to say, this is going to make you different and it's going to do something great for you. How do you, what's your process? What do you believe is kind of the outreach that you want to speak into today of the people that are like, yeah, that may not be for me?
Right, and so it's a great question, Melody. No doubt about it. So there is a high degree of vulnerability that it takes to actually uncover things that maybe you haven't wanted to share with anybody, to uncover behaviors, thoughts, or attitudes or emotions that keep you stuck. And so when reading the book, go out and get the book, everybody. You can get it on Amazon or my website, BritGusmus.com, and you'll hear that again later. So you're going to see a level of honesty from me in the book about my fears, the things I had to overcome, the insecurities that I've endured, the doubts that I've endured throughout my life. And so, like you said, Melanie, being vulnerable enough to allow those to help you see what can be on the other side is critically important. And so with the outreach with that, I am looking at to reach men who feel like they're stuck, to reach men who want more than good enough, to reach men who say to themselves, I know that I have more victory, more strength, more substance, more of the essential stuff in my life to get to, but I don't know how to get there. So, and even the man who sits in the corner office at the CEO level, how does he actually reach his C suite employees? How does he reach his common managers in a connected way? So, the Oak Tree Source will help the man at the top, the man who sits at the bottom, and the man who's struggling, whether it be with addiction, whether it be with self doubt and shame, all of those things. So, as I was reflecting on our time today, I was asking myself the question, what is the real power in this book? And the real power is connection, overcoming, experiencing victory, and a pathway to do that. And so reclaiming, so you hear men or other authors talk about reclaiming this masculine journey. And so part of my journey was obviously to reclaim that, but understanding my role as well. So I basically started over. So I started over at 36, went back to school, got my master's degree. I've been chasing coaching football at the highest levels, teaching at private school, being an author. So part of that, it was starting over for me. And there's no shame in starting over. And so I think a lot of people think, well, I'm too old. I'm too set in my ways. And so I want to reach those men wherever they're at, whether they're in the pit of shame, whether they're too comfortable, and they're leading people so they can connect with them better. Mhm. So, again, I'm a person who goes full tilt. And so when I jumped in, when I made up my mind, when I was inspired, when the Holy Spirit inspired me to do these things, and that nudge called me, and I kept answering, I jumped in to the deep end of the pool. And that's a little bit of my personality. And I know that every man is not like that. And so I have to strike a balance with, I'm going to give myself the opportunity to take 2 classes um, towards my master's. I'm not going to take a full load. I'm going to continue to evaluate, uncover, discover, execute the things that are holding me back so that I can go further with that. I started coaching again. So I've been a high school football coach for 16 years. I was out of the game for a couple of years. And so I went and volunteered and started saying, okay, what is it going to look like for me to chase the coaching dream all the way? I've got to get back in the game. And so I was taking classes, uh, volunteer coaching, taking care of our daughter. And so there was a lot to balance with that, but I continued to stay focused on the main objective. The main objective was to honor the call that was placed on my life. Know, like you said, that there was more out there for me, and continue to have a hunger and a passion. And so that continued to build. When Melanie and everybody else, when I knew the difference, when I knew the difference between, I'm going to settle for a life that is not going to be fulfilling, and I knew the difference of what purposeful satisfaction and living like a soul on fire was, balance became something that was not in the picture because I was going full tilt. And so then the people started to grow up around me. The people that would lead me on to my next coaching job, the people that would lead me to my first teaching job, the people that kept encouraging me to, Britt, you should write a book. Or, Britt, you're going to grow up to be strong and sturdy like an oak tree. Or, you've got a story to tell. And so when we know the difference, when we see how great and how purposefully satisfying life can be, I was catapulted that way and haven't ever looked back.
Ugh, there's a statement, right? And we say when you're a person of faith that God equips the called. So when you're called to do something, when you feel this in your
Mm,
heart, it's not like, okay, you've got everything prepared, your fear is going to go away, you can go all in, like you said, and there's not going to be
right.
any restrictions, any barriers, any faults, any backlash from, okay, I made this decision and now I don't really think that it's the right direction. But you will be equipped when you are called, and you have to be able to listen and lean in to hear that. So I think that's really important. And speak into the men right now that are listening to this, that are saying, yeah, but I've got all this other stuff, Britt. You don't understand. I can't give that up
Right.
to just follow this calling. Like, if I was really called, I would have the resources, the time, the energy, the money, you know,
Mm.
I would have all that in line. And so I think that's where a lot of people just kind of get it a little bit backwards. And I want you to speak to those people.
Thank you, Melanie. And yes, the rubber does meet the road when you are called. And so, my advice, my encouragement would be to all the men out there who are hearing that, who want more. You have to take the first step. You've got to speak to those trusted people in your life. So I've had many of those people come to me, press into me along the way to say, Britt, yes, whatever it takes, you should continue this route, no matter if the resources are not there, no matter if that next of it is okay to a certain extent, and we follow that, the equipping comes, the resources come, and it does happen that way, and it is not going to be the way you thought it would be. But I can tell you this, if you're honest, if you are authentic in your wants and desires, those people who are closest to you will support you till the ends of the earth, was my experience. When I came to Carrie early in our marriage and I said, babe, I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to chase this coaching dream. And she said, if that's what your heart desires, you should do that. And we're going to find a way for you to make it work. And so we're going on year 14 of marriage. It hasn't always been pretty and it hasn't always been easy, but we've created a journey. That's what makes life worth living. So, fellas, I would tell you, if the call is on your heart, take a step. Get with your closest advisors who you continue to do the background research, what it would look like for you to follow your passion. Take one small step each and every day, and then those steps will become bigger, and the support you need will come to you, and you'll be equipped with mounting. Great question.
Well, coming from you, it's so genuine. And I think this whole book is just about this journey. So it's really important for people that are, that they see this. And there's so many people online right now, and there's so many books out, there's so many stories. Yet I think I know your heart. I know your heart. And that's why I wanted to get you here so that, people in the Everyday Leaders group, in the tribe, in the Impact of Influence family, that we're celebrating each other, that we're pulling each other along. That's what it takes, is this group of community. But I want you to, take us now to your coaching, the things that you've worked so hard to get to this level. And so talk to us about that, because that's not just, something that you do, right? It's kind of the what, but it's the why behind why you love coaching and helping anybody, right? It can be sports, but yet it's the process of getting somebody from where they are to where they can be.
This happened and so you continue to improve as athletes at their craft, going through each little detailed step of the process and seeing what comes of that. And obviously, the game of football teaches such great life lessons that can transfer for the rest of their lives. But like you said, coaching as a whole. So I feel like I coach in the classroom. I feel like I coach in my regular life. In mentoring men and in different ways. And so seeing them, obviously, the end product is their souls on fire, passionate people coming from one place to another, but then the process of doing that. So we have to love the process. And so it's not hard. So I love seeing them wrestle with it, wrestle with who they are, because the most important part, I believe, in this life is figuring that out, who we are, so that we can then give our unique gift to the world. So I love the process of that. I love the connection that happens on deeper levels. So we talk about substance. And so that's the essential stuff too, is being able to connect with men, because men poured into me. So I became a man in the rooms of recovery. So I was a broken boy who came into the rooms of recovery and got around men who treated me like a man, helped me connect, and helped me in that process. And so I was so grateful. And that's part of my personality anyway, is to help, to sacrifice. And as a follower of Jesus, the more that his roots took hold of me, it was my burden, so to speak. It was my beautiful burden to help. And so what lights me up is seeing men, seeing young men, seeing women, seeing my son and daughter, seeing anybody who I come in contact with, if I can give them one little nugget that'll make them think, and then make them maybe go on that journey a little bit further. So as you can tell, it lights my soul up to see people improve, go on their own personal journeys of improvement, self-improvement, and be what they were called to be.
Hmm. Talk to me about your mentors, Britt. Um, who made you realize that change was necessary?
And so a one of my high school teachers, who I later met later in life, at one of my lowest points, I saw him and he welcomed me. He welcomed me and told me there's help here. And so seeing him, and where he was, and when I knew him as a younger person, I thought this man can help me, and he certainly did. He mentored me my first couple of years, as things got different for me, as I was no longer going to settle for being good enough, or I knew the difference. So he gently nudged me. My friend John Brooks. So his nickname is Yoda. And so his wisdom is far and wide, and he shared himself with me. So he shared his journey, his struggle, and he shared his honesty, and he boldly suggested to me that, Britt, you can do these things. Britt, look where you've come from and where you are now and who you are today. And so he continued to speak life into me through his story, through his wisdom, and through his life and through his life song, so to speak. Another really good friend of mine, Peyton Garnsey, who knew me since I was in eighth grade, always spoke life into me. And he's such a wise individual as well. He could understand me so personally and understand who I was and knew exactly what I needed it when I needed it. And so those are some great men along the line, and so many great other men. Coaches, Mark Johnson, who was my high school baseball coach, even though we had some difficult times. So I'll tell you a quick story of redemption. After I left high school baseball, was drafted by the Houston Astros. Only played a year of junior college baseball, then I was done. So there was a lot of shame for me around that. In February, I was just honored in my high school's Hall of Fame for baseball. And so you want to talk about redemption. So a career that never finished and had so much promise, God redeemed it with this award, saying, Brett, I recognized who you are. I recognize who you become. And so that was quite an honor to be elected to my high school's Hall of Fame. And so Mark helped me out a lot there, and numerous other men as well. So,
Well, I think the story there is, and thank you for sharing that, because I wanted you to share that tonight. You know, it's always about where your comfort level is, because I know you don't not
mm,
have an ego. That's the thing about Britt. You are so humble, and things that have happened to
thank you.
you have really happened to you, you know, and they've happened
Right.
through you. And so when you're giving back, and the story about this oak tree source for other people, it really is. It is about this journey, and I think it's just really important for people to get that. When you say, right, that time when somebody believed in you, when somebody said, "I've always known you. I know your character. I know that you have this ability to get through anything." And so, uh, I think we forget that people in our lives, they don't know us. They don't know what we're going through now. Yet they've always been able to see something in your spirit, and so that's what I really want
Mm,
people to pay attention to is, don't forget the people that you have not been in contact with for a long time when you're going through change, because they're the ones that can tell you, you've always been that way. You always wanted to do that. You always were the light. You were always the one that made us laugh in the locker room, or that pulled the pranks, or gave you that confidence again to say, you know what, that's when life was a little bit different. And I could just kind of let go and be myself. So tune in to those things as you're growing and changing. And, people like what your story is, Britt, and then bringing them back full circle, to say that you can accomplish the things that you want to do today. You can get back on track, and have a plan for that, and then have the people around you to be able to pull you into the direction that your heart sees for it. You just have such a great stance of vision, of commitment to your life, of commitment to the things that you love. And that's why I love celebrating you as a leader, because this is what you have decided, that this is going to be your life. This is what you see, and this is what you know that God has for you.
There's no doubt about it, and I really appreciate it. And all of those things, we need those reminders. We need those reminders. That's why encouragement and putting courage in others is so important. Having that team, that encouragement team around you to remind you. And yes, for a long time, I didn't stand for anything, and now I stand for something. And I want men to experience that as well, and to go on the journey, the hero's journey, to their masculine heart, to reclaim, start, or go after whatever it is that is going to help them be who they were meant to be, help others, and live a life as a soul on fire.
I love that. I see in your future, Britt, I see workshops, I see retreats, I see all kinds of things happening coming out to Colorado. I'm coming to visit you.
Let's do it. Would love to. Would love to.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Would love to.
So tell our folks that are listening, how can we find you? How can we, I know we can order the Oak Tree Source on Amazon. Tell us all about how we can get a hold of you, Britt.
Okay, Melanie. So through my website, BritGusmus.com, you can see all that's happening. The book, speaking opportunities, what I'm about, how to get in touch with me, to take this message further. Obviously, finding the book on Amazon and the website as well. You can reach me on social media at Brit Gusmus on Twitter. Brit Gusmus on Facebook, and Brit Gusmus 711 on Instagram. So you can find me there. I'm always out there. I do a couple of vlogs Fridays and Sundays. So I do Fired Up Fridays on Fridays, and then Sunday Encouragement on Sundays. So you can find me there.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, okay. You guys heard it here first. Let's support Britt. This is awesome. For every man in your life, Father's Day is coming up. So get your book orders in. You know, start a community, start a mastermind around this information and this resource, and reach out to Britt if he can help you with speaking engagements, with any kind of encouragement that you need in your life to get back on track in 2022. This is the perfect time to do it. So don't be shy. Step right up and get a hold of Britt to make this happen.
That's right.
Oh, Britt, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I know that you are so busy and you've lost a little bit of your voice, but we were still able to get through this. And I'm so honored for you to be here with us on Everyday Leaders tonight. This has been just a great interview. So thank you for that.
You bet, Melanie, and thank you so much for having me. I look forward to more opportunities. And yes, when that retreat starts up, and then when those, so I'll have a workbook out, companion to go with the Oak Tree Source here in the next few weeks. But yes, you've got to come out and join us. And become strong and sturdy like an oak tree. I really appreciate you having me on, and good luck with the book launch of The Impact of Influence, Volume 3, and look forward to how we can continue to connect in the future.
Absolutely. Gosh, thank you so much, Britt. All right, go right now to Amazon, The Oak Tree Source, and get this book. Get this book.
That's right.
Great. Have a fantastic rest of the week, Britt. Happy Easter. And we will see everybody here back very soon for Everyday Leaders Live. If you have a story to share, get a hold of us, everydayleaders.com. You can contact me, reach out. We are doing some live segments. We're calling them Showcase this year. We're going to release one in May. That's our first one. Really excited to share the secrets about what that show is and coming. You guys are going to love this. And Everyday Leaders Live Showcase is about being in person, face-to-face with our production team. So we are really excited to bring the Airstream out this year and finally get it going after COVID. So stay tuned. Look out for everything that we're doing. And if you are available in Greenwood, Indiana tomorrow, you can join us at the Root to Rise coffee shop in Greenwood from 10 to 1 p.m. Eastern. So we will see you soon. Thank you again, Britt, for joining us. And continue to be everyday leaders in your life. Let's develop cultures, people, and processes and make a bigger impact in the world. See you soon.
Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.